All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Actually, welcome back to the second channel for the MLB Parlay of the day. Guys, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We're going to go through today's slate and hopefully put together a nice little plus money parlay to cash. Now, yesterday did not come through. The Dodgers, nor did the under in that Diamondbacks and Texas game. Andrew Vaughn did get a hit, though, but that was obviously the most juiced part of the parlay. So hopefully we can do a little bit better today. The way that we do it is we kind of use our MLB dashboard, which I'll talk about how to get access to throughout the video. But we go through each and every game, kind of trying to pick out some things that may look good for a parlay. Again, the idea, and yes, we're kind of constraining ourselves, but having a little fun doing it, is that we're going to look for one money line or one side, one total play, whether it's a team total, whether it's a first five full game, over, under, that type of thing, and then one player prop. So a three-leg parlay to throw into a game today. So without any, wasting any more time, let's dive into it. We got the first matchup here, Seattle and Baltimore. Seattle is pretty heavily favored in this one. And it makes sense why. You have George Kirby on the bump. One thing that I would consider here is George Kirby, obviously a guy that historically does not walk too many batters. This is a team that does not walk at all. Against righties last 30 days, 29th in terms of walks. Let's see what George Kirby, and this is Outlier, guys. I'll pop this up on the screen. This is a QR code to go ahead and sign up for Outlier if you guys do want to check it out, or just check out the link down in the description. You get 7 days free. It's an absolute game changer of a tool. So let's go ahead and pull up George Kirby and see what his walk line is right now. Walks. Yeah, so it's 0.5. We can't even get an under for the 1.5. So that's kind of chalk there. The only other thing that I would take a peek at here would be potentially Seattle money line, or even maybe an under if both these guys pitch well. But I don't think there's anything that's like kind of worthy there to take one of these 3 spots. So let's move on to the next game here. And again, guys, as a reminder, we are going through this and doing the research with you guys. Obviously, we've already recorded our MLB picks video. I've gone through the games. I have an idea of what I like today, but not from a parlay perspective. So yeah, you're seeing kind of the behind the scenes work as we go through and everything like that. So yes, it takes a little bit longer. It's not just me spitting out a 3-leg parlay at you, but we got some good feedback yesterday that you guys kind of liked the behind the scenes and the watch along of us putting one together. So just FYI, that's the case as of right now. Next one here, we have Miami and Cleveland. I do think Cleveland could be an interesting spot because you're only getting them at -140, which wouldn't be all that crazy. I think Logan Allen can pitch well today. The slider is going to be a pitch that they see a ton of. Jansen Junk, that's ranked 10th in terms of, the league of them hitting the slider. Few of these guys in the middle of the order hit pretty well, but one guy that I like, and I do think we're already going to roll with him from our final plays for the MLB, is Kyle Manzardo. So let's take a peek at him real quick. Then we can consider Cleveland on the money line, but I do like the idea of, Manzardo overall, and you'll see why. So let's take a peek at him just to get a hit here. One, he's been doing it crazy lately. Hits righties better than he does lefties. His WRC plus is great. Batting average balls in play is great. Jansen Junk against lefties really does struggle. The slider he hits well. The fastball he hits well. The curve, not so much. The change he does. So 3 of those 4 pitches. That curve ball, if he hangs it, he'll hit it, right? So Jansen Junk throws the junk, and he does place it pretty damn well, but if he hangs it right in this area, he will hit it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's add this, and again, we'll kind of keep a little pool going right now of Kyle Manzardo to get a hit. Cleveland on the money line, the only thing that I worry about here, and if we want to take a peek at kind of them, is that they've been so hot. Is this the type of game that they drop, right? They dropped last game against the White Sox, didn't really see that coming. Last 10 here, they've obviously looked very, very good. With Logan Allen on the mound, they've won 2 straight games, so it could be a nice spot, but Jansen Junk, this team just seems to win when he starts. They've won 8 of their last 10 when he's on the mound, so that worries me a little bit. I think Cleveland moneyline would be the side that we look at here, but I don't think it's going to beat out Manzardo, and we don't want to have multiple things in one game, right? So I think that's going to be a nice little look. Let's go ahead and move on to Philadelphia and Cincinnati in this spot. How do we feel about Philly's money line? I mean, for the price, it's not all that terrible. Like, they're worthy of a potentially even straight play today, right? At -150. But check it out, guys. They hit lefties really well, or excuse me, righties really well. Brady Singer's a righty. He's been better at home, I get it, but he struggles against lefties. You ever heard of Kyle Schwarber? You ever heard of Bryce Harper? This might be a Phillies spot to be able to take them. Also, Ranger Suarez has been very good on the road. He's very, very good against lefties. There's not many lefties in the lineup. I get that. That could be a downside. But fastball cutter should check out, right? The changeup and the sinker. Okay, the sinker might be something that they get. The changeup should be pretty damn good. So I'm going to say that we can add the Phillies in just to our pool right here. That is definitely replaceable. Like, I think it's going to be hard to replace the player prop with Manzardo unless we come across something that's really, really, really good. But to me, this is a decent spot for some decent odds. I mean, look at the odds right now. Over on MGM right now, for those two alone, you're getting plus 142. So that's gonna allow us to have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to a total, or if we want to sub out the player prop and whatnot, right? So let's continue here, but it is worth noting that this Philly squad, they may have some value on the odds today because they do have, I would say, the starting pitching advantage and the batting advantage. When you get to the bullpen, I like the idea of them being able to go to Duran late if it's a close game, kind of close it out. The rest of the bullpen does worry me to some degree, but Kerkering, Strom, pretty damn good, and it's not like anyone outside of Pagan and Santillan, maybe Ashcraft, are like that feared in the Cincinnati bullpen, right? So I still think that, the bullpen we could even call a wash to some degree. This is one where, the Yankees money line might be a spot. We don't know exactly who's coming to pitch here for Minnesota. It looks like Hatch is the opener or the primary, but again, it seems like it's a bullpen day. My worry is that this Yankees offense is still pretty damn strugglesome, right? That being said, they looked okay yesterday. They won 6-2. The bullpen can always give it up. Nothing truly jumps out. The only thing that I would say is maybe if we do have a Yankees, offensive resurgence coming, it might be a good time to take them against this Minnesota bullpen. You can look at like over 4.5, but even that looks a little ugly, right? How about if we even went 3.5 for 286? Because that would turn this into a plus 217, plus 223 parlay, which isn't too bad, but just check the Yankees out. They've really definitely struggled here lately. 64% of the year, but when we look at the last 20, 60, the last 10, boom, there it goes. Now at home, it still looks pretty good. Let's say we're getting a righty today or a lefty. I guess that won't necessarily matter. So that could be a total that we keep in there. The problem again is this lineup going to kind of get the job done? We could see here if we look at their last few games and how they've been scoring. We just had it up, but just to kind of look at it from a matchup perspective, 6 against Zebby Matthews, only 1 against Alexander. They did put up 5 against Framber Valdez. That's good. Just 3 against Hunter Brown, 3 against Jack Leiter, 0 against Eovaldi. They've faced some really good pitchers lately, so I don't want to take too much against them or put too much against them. So maybe we do say, hey, well, they're getting a bullpen day from Minnesota, which, by the way, the bullpen's not even all that great. Maybe they can go out there and get you 4 runs. So let's leave that in there for now. That is a placeholder, as is the Phillies money line. But right now, I'm honestly, in terms of odds, and that's kind of the goal here, I'm comfortable with plus 223. I think that is juicy enough for us to be kind of, confident in. But we've only, dove into a handful of the slate. All right, couple things that we could look at in this Toronto and Chicago game. I don't mind the idea of the over. We have Barrios on the mound. I think he'll be okay, but we do have a good Cubs offense. Now, the top of that lineup has definitely been struggling against righties, but I think Toronto can also put up a decent number here against Ben Brown and then even against this Chicago bullpen. Look at some of these guys in their pitch mix rating. Bo Bichette, Vlad, Ty France. We have Dalton Varsho, Loperfido, who's a guy that we already took as over 0.5 hits, runs, and RBIs today on our normal plays. This could be a spot in which you say, hey, screw you, Yankees. How about a Toronto team total over, right? So let's take a peek at that and see if we like it any more, right? Just due to the fact that, this team's offense is obviously very good, and I don't think Ben Brown's all that fantastic. So if we said Toronto go get us 4 runs, and we took the Yankees out, we're getting even better odds. So do we like that? I think we might. You're still getting the home team, but overall you have the more consistent offense. If we want to look at Toronto here in terms of the ballpark, I don't know if roof open or closed today. It's a plus 6% either way, right? The Yankees are plus 1%. That wind in Yankee Stadium's blowing away from the short porch. I think that makes our decision up for us. Let's go ahead and say, hey, we like Toronto more than the Yankees. Yankees hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. And we'll go with Toronto team total over as of right now for what we have from a total place. Let's keep going here. I am liking how things are shaping up right now. I will admit, The Phillies money line, still something that feels like we're in a little bit of limbo there. Like, I like it. I like the Phillies today, but are we missing something? Potentially. Atlanta and the Mets. So in my regular video, I lean towards Atlanta today because I do think that this is somewhat of a 50-50 game, and you're getting plus money behind the Braves. Did I say I lean towards the Mets? I lean towards the Braves. I will say Clay Holmes definitely looks good in terms of his sinker-slider combo. We don't have too many players that look all that fantastic. I would lean under in this game, and I think we already bet the first 5 under. In terms of parlay piecing it together, though, I don't know how much I like it, and I don't think that any sort of first 5 under or anything would replace this Toronto to go out there and get us 4 runs. So I think we could probably move past this one, but I do admit that maybe a low-scoring game, honestly, is something that's kind of irking me in the direction, or leading me in the direction of laying that. By the way, guys, before we do get to Detroit and the White Sox, I should have mentioned earlier how to get access to the dashboard. GuyBostonSports.com, head to the members area, MLB dashboard right there, or just go to GuyBostonSports.com/members. Sign up today. If you use code DASH, you'll get this dashboard, which is every single game, each and every day, right? You get this dashboard for $2.99 for your first month. After that, it's not a big gotcha. It's not like, hey, you're in for $3 for 1 month. After that, we're going to charge you $1 million. No. $6.99 a month after that. This code is only valid through the end of Friday. So you got a few more days to use it. Dash, D-A-S-H, GuyBostonSports.com. Head to the members area. This dashboard will change your research process. I promise you that. But let's dive into this. Detroit and Chicago. This might be a nice money line look, guys. We have Jack Flaherty going up against a bullpen day potentially from the White Sox. You know, this is an interesting one because we've seen a lot of kind of ups and downs out of what we've seen from the Tigers offense, right? I will admit that. I'll say that. Yesterday, they ended up getting the win. I think it was 2-1, so the offense didn't even look all that great. But that said, you know, they are still a team that I would say Jack Flaherty on the bump gives them an advantage for sure. Last 10 starts with Jack Flaherty hasn't looked all that tremendous, but it's the White Sox, you know what I mean? Not exactly all that worrisome there. So, if the offense comes to play, yes, we could see some, you know, Tigers action. But what I'll say is I think that they're just as much kind of likely in a sense as the Phillies, and you're getting a way better price tag there for the Phillies. It's still the away team, so I don't know if it totally knocks off the Phillies, but if you're watching this being like, oh, I like the Tigers over the Phillies, I get it. I don't think that we fully get there, though. And then from a player prop perspective, Kerry Carpenter is going to be one that we should definitely do our due diligence and look at. Even though we like Manzardo and all that, we're going to see a lot of sinkers out of Vasil, and I'm hoping that we get a couple. See, we don't even have the odds yet because I guess we do have some lines up for him. But point being is that we're still waiting on a confirmed pitcher there. Which let's see if there's any more recent update as to what we have. Usually ours, yeah, it's still Vasil. Ours is pretty up to date. Like maybe 1 minute behind sometimes. But either way, for him to get a hit there, yeah, I do like it. He's been doing really, really well. And we're going to get a lot of sinkers, which you'll see here on the dashboard is kind of what we're looking at. That being said, there's more of a question mark as to who's pitching here, right? At least when we looked at Cleveland, we know it's going to be Jansen Junk. So I don't think that Kerry Carpenter is going to overtake that Manzardo spot for a hit, but that could be a potential look because he has probably the highest pitch mix rating today in terms of our algorithm. Actually, scorepredicts.com. Let's see if we've updated this morning. Guys, this is Score Predict, so scored spelled normal, predicts, PREDIX.com. We have Shea Langelier is the only one ahead of him today in terms of pitch mix rating. We have obviously what we just showed you, the pitch mix rating, right? And we also have our MLB predictor, which every single game we have projections for scores of the full game as well as the first 5, which it was just up there and coincidentally now crashes when I want to show you. But this is all still in the works. This is going to be a subscription model in years, in the future. But as of right now, it's all free because obviously we're still testing out some bugs there. But let's move on. I don't think there's much to jump to in this one. Tigers money line, maybe Kerry Carpenter, but neither one of which take over the Manzardo or the Phillies money line spot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we got Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. This is going to be awesome. Is there parlay potential here? Probably not. But what a damn game. Schemes against the Brew Crew. Absolutely love it. Obviously not going to be looking at anyone on the Brewer side of things in terms of an over. And Freddie Peralta's pitching for Milwaukee. Probably not going to look at anyone on Pittsburgh either. The only thing I'd consider here is maybe an alternate under. But then I think it's kind of asinine because you still do have the Brewers offense. And I talked about it in the regular video that, you know, once we get to the bullpen, this could be a spot in which Milwaukee does some damage. So nothing from a parlay perspective for me. But man, oh man, I think this could be very, very, very entertaining to watch. I said could be. It will be very, very entertaining to watch. You can mark my words there. All right, in the video this morning, I leaned Washington. This is actually yesterday's stuff, so we got to load that one up correctly. But I leaned Washington, right? Now, I don't think that that's what I would do in a parlay because it's kind of crazy in and of itself. In a parlay spot, I'd still probably consider the Royals because they do have some advantages here. So ultimately, yeah, unless we're looking at unders like Grichuk, but against Mitchell Parker, that's probably not the right move. Nathaniel Lowe, he can obviously hit. Brady House, again. There's not much value from a parlay perspective in here, but I do think that Washington has a chance of winning this game today. I'm not going to be betting it myself. I did mention that in the video, though, that for plus 178, I think that the value is all over them, but ultimately, not the spot that I'm like trying to consider, you know, for a parlay specifically. All right, interesting. When I say interesting, I think there's a few spots we could look at here. A team total over for St. Louis could be good, as well as a money line spot. Liberatore, I don't like as much as Ranger Suarez, and I know Colorado has been okay, but Kyle Freeland is a good pitcher. I like Kyle Freeland, but he struggles against righties. There's like all righties in this damn lineup. Some of the big ones, Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, sure, lefties. But here's what I like. Them against lefties, absolutely torching. Now, are they better against, you know, in terms of Toronto against righties? I don't know about, I wouldn't know if I'd go that, right? Like Toronto is 1-1-1-1-1. So what would we get for odds here? Is there something that we can beat in terms of, you know, that minus 180, minus 200? If we look at over 3.5 for St. Louis, are we boosting these odds like pretty significantly? If so, it's worth considering. It really is. Minus 200, so no. No, it's not going to, but what we can do is this. What if we got a little crazy? Hey, it's our show. We can make the rules, right? What if we go over 2.5, and then we even go back to this Toronto spot and say, okay, you know what? We're going to go 4 legs in this one. We're going to go over 2.5 there as well. So let's get rid of that Toronto 3.5. Now we're including both of them, and the odds slightly go up. Is that too dumb? Like, are we now including too much? Should we just look at maybe the cards on the money line? Maybe that's what we'll do. I feel a little bit safer doing that. Let's see what the odds would be here if we add that in there. And again, guys, QR code on your screen for Outlier. Definitely want to stress that that is something to consider. So 271 right now. If we add the Cardinals to the money line, 244-ish, mid 240s, and then we don't have to stress over the Phillies. And we get a spot against the Rockies. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let's see what we got. Do we have, what is Ballpark Pal? Let's go to the monitor here. Phillies, they have as a score right here 5.3 to 5.1, a 2.2 difference. Okay. Okay, so this is a little bit more. That's a 0.7 difference. Screw it. Let's keep the Cardinals in there. I've been concerned about the Phillies, right? Let's keep the Cards in there. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. What is going on here? Dashboard is not looking hot right there. All right, Texas and Arizona, Jack Leiter, Del Scafani, nothing that I'm overly obsessed with here. Higashioka, I like that. I like Geraldo Perdomo, nothing that I like more than Manzardo. And in terms of a total, I don't think anything's jumping out. Like, it's going to be pretty tough to beat this, guys. Manzardo to get a hit, Blue Jays over 3.5, and then St. Louis on the money line. It's going to be pretty damn tough to beat that. I really do think so, in terms of, you know, liking things outside of it. Boston, Houston, oh, man, here's a team total that I like. I already talked about this earlier. Red Sox, Houston. I do like the Red Sox to score today. Let's see. Let's pop this one up. Dustin May and Spencer Hardy. The reason we're going between like the behind the scenes version of the dashboard and the newest one is when there's jobs running, the placeholder would be the most recent data, which is obviously Garrett Crochet and Javier pitched yesterday. So I imagine in literally less than a minute, those would be good to go. But hey, we got a show to do here, so let's just reload that. It'll probably be good by the time that's good. But Spencer Arrieta on the bump, Dustin May. I think the Red Sox could put up a decent number today. Against, comparing it to Toronto, maybe not so much. Jarren Duran's also a guy that I could see getting a hit today. We're going to see fastball cutter for sure, curveball as well. Fastball cutter, he hits very, very well. Let's take a peek at Duran. and see if we like him more than Manzardo. If we can get better odds for him just to get a hit, then maybe that is a spot to consider. Or if we get Duran over, you know, hits, runs, and RBIs type of thing. So let's see, Duran, let's open this over 0.5. 0.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's been doing that like crazy. To get a hit, 1 hit's 220, very similar to Manzardo. What is Manzardo's? Before we do this, what is his over 0.5 hits, runs, and RBIs? 295. What does this do to the odds if we take away his hit? Now that's going to be very hard to beat. Plus 217 on... This might be something that we look at. That's only, what, 20 cents of value that we lose there? Is that kind of psycho? That could be the saving grace. Hits, runs, and RBIs. All right, you know what? I like that we're looking at Duran and we found something. 217. We're going to stick with that as of right now, okay? As of right now, okay? So Duran, sure, I think could be an option, but no, I don't think it's going to overly take it over. Dodgers could be a money line play. Could be a money line play. They've lost now 5 straight in their last 5 against the Angels, 4 coming this year. They got swept last time out. You can see the dashboard already loaded correctly on the other side of things. Emmett Sheehan has been pitching okay. Victor Maderos is a bullpen arm. Dodgers sold the parlay last night. I can't imagine them doing that again. I'll say this. If we can, just by the parlay, right, take out this, the Seattle money line, and say, let's try and beat 217, then I think that might be a go. So let's see. Throw in the Dodgers. It literally is 217. It's literally 217. So who do we like more? I'd say a bullpen day. A bullpen day from... This is so tough because this Dodgers team is stunk. But I'm going to go them. A bullpen day from the Angels. The worst bullpen, or a worst bullpen. Colorado's bullpen is decent, right? I mean, not trying to say that they're is not very good, but they're better than the Angels bullpen. So, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and keep this one in there. You guys are seeing like an all-out meltdown right now overall. All right, game number 11. We already did that one. 13. All right, here we go. Game 14, 2 more. San Diego, San Francisco. Didn't really like this one. It would be Padres or nothing for me, but Robbie Ray's on the other side. So we can kind of move through that one pretty quickly. Nothing jumps out here, unless you want to Grant McCray under hits. Last game, there is something to look at here. Lopez could be good. We could be getting the A's at some really good value, but Shane Baz is very good himself. Is an under in play. The bullpen scares me. We have all 3 of the big arms went yesterday for Tampa Bay. I don't think that they beat out this Toronto side, in all honesty. So you know what? I think that this is going to be the final spot here, guys. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a plus 217 look. Blue Jays over 3.5 runs. Manzardo over 0.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, meaning he just can score a run and he cashes. He could have a sacrifice fly that scores a run as an RBI. It cashes. And then the Dodgers on the money line. Hope you guys did enjoy the parlay of the day today, August 12th. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.